What you wish your web designer knew. In this session, I want to take a short look at things that never even enter a web designer's mind, but are foremost for a business owner. In the 8 or so years I've been building websites for clients, I have seen the digitally good, bad, and downright ugly. I've also witnessed how web designers and business owners quite often do not speak the same language at all. In an industry where practically anything digital that is possible, many things can and do end up going wrong on a design project. So let's talk about some of the challenges and problems your web designer is sometimes blissfully unaware of. When you're looking for a web designer, it's likely for 2 reasons. One is you've just registered your brand new business, or you're launching a new product, or starting up a new service, or something like that. You're riding a wave of optimism. Yeah, let's do this. You're motivated to make a success of it. You've got all these lovely ideas, and you've got it in your head a slick online shop or a sparkling new website is going to help turn all these lovely ideas into lots of lovely lolly. Another reason is, your website is ancient. It's been there a while. You last put a bit of content on it, you can't recall exactly. It was designed by your cousin's kid back in the day, and it looks like it belongs on an episode of Friends. You remember Friends, right? Don't you? So you feel, it's time for a revamp, and you want to brush off your online presence and go for something a little more professional looking, or at the very least, a bit more modern. A casual search on Google might spit out a few results for designers in your area. You start poking about on the internet, and the very first problem you run into is that web designers don't put their prices on their websites. I'm not even truly sure why this happens. I could mention, and probably you know, that no website is created equal. Websites are not like a loaf of bread or a Happy Meal that sort of costs the same everywhere or all over. Websites do different things, and differing amounts of effort, time, and expertise go into them. It's frustrating, though, when you can't even find a ballpark figure anywhere to at least steer you in the right direction. So you are compelled to pick up the phone to find out firstly if you can afford the designer that you've picked online. At least having some price indication up somewhere could save a bit of time, at least to prevent an awkward conversation when you find out that the agency wants not only an arm or a leg for a design project, but perhaps your kidney too. That, and to be honest, calling around for a web designer to find out if you're a good fit for each other takes time. And business owners have that in very short supply. And that's one of the first big things a web designer doesn't always fully grasp, that every available ounce of time you have goes into running your business. But let's say you finally find someone who doesn't demand an internal organized payment, maybe through a friend of yours or a business contact, and you arrange a meeting. You tell them all about your lovely ideas, and they get all excited, and you get excited, and you're both like the pink bunnies in the battery ads. And here's a warning, though. You're likely not excited about the same things. You walk away from the meeting feeling they got you. You can't wait to see what they'll come up with. Your dream of seeing your products in lights is about to come true. And here's the other pitfall with a designer. They're not seeing a product in lights. They're seeing color palettes, code, page layouts. Their focus isn't your bottom line. It's very often theirs. So they'll go off to draw up a quote or something like that, and then a while later, maybe a day or two or a week or two, they come back to you with an email or a follow-up meeting. And that little figure at the bottom of the quote sort of makes your airway constrict just a little. And here's the other big area where things can go wrong. Budget. The web design agency or freelancer that you've selected doesn't think about cash flow the way you do. They can easily assume things in a design brief, charge you per hour for a project, focus on a design point, and then slap you with a huge bill at the end because they spent 7 hours trying to code the exact shade of purple to match a section of your logo. Okay, maybe I'm over-exaggerating, but I'm sure you get the point. And, of course, the invoice has 7 days to pay. They're very often just simply not aware of the ways your financial capacity can come and go unexpectedly. Then there's the proposal that goes with the quote. There's one tiny problem with it. It's written in Martian. You try reading it carefully, and you think it's in English, but you can't understand it much. And that's what Martian is, actually. It masquerades as English, but bears no resemblance whatsoever. Your eyes focus on the word responsive. Isn't that a medical term? As in, the patient was responsive to treatment. What does the designer mean exactly when they use this word? And a wireframe? What's a wireframe? Is that like a Zimmer frame? Hey, my antiquated website is not that old. It's with a quote or estimate for the project that it becomes sorely evident you're from different planets. Often words or technical terms are simply not explained or simplified or put into terms a business owner can actually relate to. And I want to add here that business owners are not unintelligent. You have a spark of something remarkable in you if you run your own business. And in fact, you probably would be able to pick up all this jargon, well, if you actually had the time. But that's the thing. You're meant to be good at your trade, not at deciphering Martian. Your time is for running your business. Web designers often make the mistake of thinking the world understands when they speak. It's a hazard of the job. But you seriously want or need this website, so you drink a few cups of coffee to regain your balance, and you think, oh well, this designer can't be too bad, they did a nice site for my friend, and so you hire them. And what happens next? Well, now you start collecting all the bits and pieces needed to start building this site. You go about scratching in files and folders and looking for photos of stuff, and you pester clients to write a testimonial here and there, and you spend late nights staring at blank documents open on your computer, trying your level best to put some of your thoughts down. But you know what? Writing content is hard, and words are actually not your thing. This is another thought that does not cross your designer's mind. There's an unspoken assumption that everyone knows how to write, and besides, you ought to have loads to say about your business, surely? But the obstacles in producing any kind of written content are actually enormous. And eventually, let's say you get it all together somehow and you send it off to your new web designer. You feel they're the experts. They should surely know how to make it all hang together. And then you wait. You wait some more. You wait a little longer. But there's just silence. You're not hearing a word from your web designer. You have no idea where this project is at. You keep chasing them for updates, but not a word. And then you get an email. But your excitement is short-lived to see it's just a lengthy, technical, blah, 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 about some glitch, something that's going to delay the whole project. And it's really a small thing to just regularly update someone with progress, even if there was very little. It would go a long way to build trust and confidence. The difficulty here is that your designer, being a touch creative, sometimes they lose themselves in the world of making a website. Creatives forget in their total focus on their craft that they need to keep you updated, and they're unaware of the stress it causes you. And then finally, one morning, it's done. The website is finished. Hurrah! And you can't wait to see. You click on the link the designer emailed you and, oh dear, your heart sinks to your shoes. It wasn't what you expected at all. It's not even close to what you wanted. You want to weep. And after the disappointment comes genuine annoyance. You feel the designer did not listen to a single word you said. They didn't do what you asked them, or they did things that you never asked for. It almost seems as if they never took the time to learn about your business or your customers. This situation could really have been avoided if there had been regular communication, let's face it. Your designer can't see the problem, though. They did their job. What's the fuss about? And to add insult to injury, you are presented with a big bill for this website. Expensive designers can build truly beautiful websites. They can indeed. But as beautiful as a website can turn out, if it doesn't work, it's like a Maserati in your driveway, but without an engine, to be honest. The majority of web designers try to aim for beautiful when building a site. The thing is, though, unless you're selling photographs, art, or something aesthetic like that, function actually comes before form for a business website. Designers are looking to add to their portfolio, which has to look good if they are to draw more clients. Their business aims are not like your business aims. And this is another area of potential misunderstanding between your web designer and you. Can it get worse? Oh, it can. Once a website has gone live, the designer will feel their job is done and move on to their next project. The dilemma is that you want to be able to make basic changes to text or images on your site. The question is, how? You were given login details or something like that when the site was completed, but it's a little like being given the keys to this Maserati we've just spoken about, when all you've driven your whole life was a moped. You don't even know where the ignition is for this terrifying technical entity. And now you're stuck. Over time, the content on your website is going to look old again. And, well, dead content looks very much like a dead business. And your designer really has no clue because they're coding something else now. And heaven forbid this ever happens to you. But let's say one morning, after months of plodding along with this new website that you have no idea how to update or run, an irate customer calls you to complain that your site is down. You go take a look, and your blood turns to ice in your veins as you realize that somehow your online shop has actually been hacked. A few hours and several phone calls later, it dawns on you that the personal data captured on your site is now in the hands of some sweaty hacker in a basement somewhere, and heaven alone knows what they're going to do with it. Does your web designer have a spare room for you to live in as you go out of business? Because that's what's going to happen when you can't sell online anymore and it's your chief source of income. Let's summarize it all quickly like this. Web designers can be blissfully unaware of a number of things in your world. They're not aware they can save you time by putting a price up on their website for their services. They're sometimes not sensitive to your financial capacity or constraints. They use big words normal people do not understand. They can forget how hard it is for you to find and write content for your website. They're unaware how stressful little, no, or poor communication can be on you. They might not fully realize your business aims because theirs are very different. They assume it will be easy for you to learn how to edit your website yourself. And lastly, they don't realize what an impact being offline can have on your business. Is it worth it having a web designer? You might be feeling a bit worried right now. Fortunately, good web designers do exist, and it can really be worth your while to find the right one. Next up, we take a look at some insights web designers have into the online world that can be enormously useful to your business, and why finding the right one is a good thing. The things that web designers know and that you don't.